the Radio Forest Podcast.
Dave Davies.
Hey,
How are you, sir?
I'm fine, Boris.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Hey, your autobiography is wild. It's got everything. It's aliens. It's you guys getting banned from the U.S. There's sex. There's drugs. There's rock stars. It's blowing my mind. It's crazy. Did you have to hold anything back? Because it seems like everything's in there.
I think there's quite a lot that I didn't put in there. But no, I thought, why not? People learn from people's mistakes, but they also learn from people's lives, what they do. So hopefully it'll end up being a life affirmation, hopefully.
How did you find the writing process? Because you're quite the artist. You paint. Of course, you're a musician. You also meditate. I know you're pretty big into films. Which of those things makes time fly by the fastest? Because when you really get into something like playing guitar, you pick it up, next thing you know, 2 hours have gone by. So you got meditation, painting, guitar, writing. Which one of those passes the time for you the most?
Oh, well, good question. I think if you're enjoying something or really in the moment with something, it makes it go seem faster. Painting can, if you're really into whatever it is you're doing, all of a sudden the day's gone. You think, what? Time is irrelevant, really, when you're on that flow. I found the book quite hard because emotionally it's quite draining. But I think it's important to get these feelings out and these ideas out. And that's just the great thing about art, is that it's expressive. It's like something in a kid, and you get all these thoughts and feelings and emotions going. It's important, I think, to all of us.
There's a lot of emotion in this book. I mean, it starts when you're 15 and you're getting kicked out of school. I had no idea you and the band have been through so much, but like you said, it really was a spilling of all your emotions. Now, I've never had a chance to see the Kinks, but I've seen your son play with Karma to Burn. When did he start picking up the guitar?
Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel. Yeah, I've seen him on stage, but I've never seen you. Did you teach him, or was that his own path?
Well, it was obviously, I was living in LA at the time when I had Daniel, and when he was obviously very musical as a young boy. But he really much carved his way himself, obviously listening to me. But I could see early on that he was really a musical, artistic type of kid.
How can you tell as a father when a kid has a little bit of inclination towards music? Was it pretty early, or was it the time like a teenager when everybody kind of gets into it, or was it earlier than that?
It's different for any of them, all of them, because I remember one day that Daniel was playing me something and we were jamming, and I thought, I was sort of worried that whether he was going to make it or whatever. And then, like 6 months later, his whole vibe and style was changed, and he'd become, this wonderful musician. I thought, wow, I better watch it.
He'll fill in for you. We've hired a new guitarist. His name is Daniel.
Yeah. Initials are the same.
Yeah. Oh, we already know how to deal with this guy. He just plays guitar a little bit different. Yeah.
No, of course, I'm in love with him. I'm in love with his music. It's great.
Well, the Kinks have The Journey Part 1, 60th anniversary out now, 2 CD, 2 LP, a lot of remastered tracks on there. It goes way back to the beginning. After some of your health problems, a few years later, you ended up reaching out to Malcolm Young from AC/DC. You'd gone through so much and learning about your own brain and relearning guitar. Did you ever hear back from anybody in the AC/DC camp? I know they keep things pretty quiet. Even other bands have said, they don't talk a lot to other bands. Did you ever hear back from Angus or Malcolm or anybody?
No, I don't hear back from anything, but obviously I've done a lot of research and work into, like I said, a very traumatic experience going to a fully blown stroke like that. And at one point, I thought that I would never have come back from that. But you got to keep plugging away, and you keep plugging away, because the brain and the muscles, your muscle holds memory. It doesn't go away. It's in the muscles. So you have to remember that when you're trying to slog it away. So just the same things every day.
When you came back, was your playing different because you had to relearn? I mean, like you said, there's muscle memory, but did your style change a little bit?
A little bit. It does. It's inevitable because those neural pathways, a lot of them are kind of pretty broken down, or they might be okay. You know, you don't know what's the nervous system, such a weird one to be contemplating it anyway. Yeah, it was like some things that relearn a few tricks,
In your autobiography, Living on a Thin Line, which came out in January, you talk a lot about a lot of different rock stars, the time and the place that you were. There's a lot of stuff about the Beatles and Jimi Hendrix. But I think you're probably the only guy I've ever talked to, and I'd like to know more about Brian Jones and the Rolling Stones.
Well, what's funny is I always hold a special place in my heart for Brian, because for some reason, he and I both hit it off together as mates, I liked him very much. I think he was kind of more like arty than kind of into the rock thing, although he was into that as well. But I think he carried with him like a magnetism of like art and it was a wonderful man, great man.
And how are you connected to John Carpenter? I mean, I know you're really interested in films, Mark Hamill, quite a few other actors and directors.
Some years ago, I can't even remember when. I was obviously a horror film guy and science fiction. I'd written this film script that I was really pleased with, and I was going to move to LA anyway. And my family, Daniel was a little baby. Mm-hmm. And so I sent my script to John, and I heard back from him and said, why don't we get together? So we got together at I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a famous watering hole of West Hollywood. And we just drank beer and played pool.
Oh, that's cool.
And, it was such fun that we repeated it over and over. Then I did some work on a couple of John's films. I think the first music I did was an introduction to the Out of the Mouths of Madness. I don't know if you remember that film.
No, I don't.
And later we worked on a music for Village of the Damned, which was fabulous to work on. Great. And John's got a lot of humour. He's very funny when you work with him. But I found that most people that they go on with art forms, they use their humour to keep them going, It's tough in there, working hour after hour, and hours are long, You got to keep the spirits up. It's wonderful working with John, and we had a great time together.
Well, Dave Davies from the Kinks, it's an honor to talk to you. I love your biography. Like I said, it's freaking wild. It's out now. It's called Living on a Thin Line. You've got a 2-part 60th anniversary celebration of the Kinks. The first one, The Journey, is out now. David Davies, thank you so much. It's an honor to talk to you today.
Thank you, man. That was great.